Yeah. Okay, very good. Very good evening to all of you. Yeah. So yesterday, yesterday how many yesterday how many were there in the class? More than 30. So any feedback on yesterday's class? I was showing pictures and was asking you to make a sentence,
We
make a
enjoyed
sentence
it,
from the
sir.
picture.
Actually, by this we will know how to talk in English with
Yeah,
confidence.
exactly.
So we enjoyed it.
Actually, that was a kind of very simple pictures what I gave you. And if I give you a complicated pictures, like complicated pictures in the sense, pictures which need a lot of vocabulary. So then again comes the real challenge. So that is our next class we will see.
Yes, sir. Now, just
Yeah.
now, I am also taking challenge. So yesterday
Uh,
class depends on yesterday class. I am taking today. I will now. I am only send yoga benefits to our PM.
okay.
So I'm completely talking in this English. So that
Okay.
was
Very good.
gave the spirit from the last previous class.
Yeah. That's what, they were jogging and doing exercise. They were having a chat. So small sentences.
Yes, yes,
Yeah. Automatically, you'll be able to speak.
yes.
Yeah. And little vocabulary was needed. What? Doing exercise, chatting, very simple words. Like if I give you kind of so next time we'll see other pictures which really needs vocabulary. We will work on that one also. And it's like we'll be doing a lot more in the previous in the coming Sunday sessions. It will be more interactive. Okay, fine. So we'll go now. Today's topic. Okay. I will play one video. So, and I want anyone to guess what could be the topic. Okay, 1 minute.
Vocabulary.
Sir, you are in mute. Anthony, sir, you are in mute.
Yeah. So family life, right? People started mixer in the kitchen. So, so I told them seriously. So till 9, no sound should come. So nothing has happened, but simply a regular thing. So I will share a video
Annual
now.
dinner,
Yeah,
or else they won't give
7:30.
you dinner.
Yeah. Mallikarjun was suggesting the time, 7:30 is the best time to have dinner. So I completed my time. So we'll watch a video now. Now, everyone, I want you to observe what happened and what happens in the video and just guess the topic, okay? Okay, just let me know if you're able to listen to the audio also.
What did you say to me?
You're able
Yes,
to
yes,
hear audio?
horrible, horrible. Yes, sir. Yes,
Audible, right?
yes, sir. Yes.
No. My headphones, it is not coming. Just a minute. You can see the video screen, right?
Yes, sir.
You can see the video screen at Ringling College of Art and Design, right?
Yes, 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 sir. We got
Okay,
it.
fine. Now I'll start the video. Everyone just, it's a very simple video.
What did you say to me?
If you can't think outside of the box, don't bother coming back! The next time I see your face, you're fired! You hear me? Ooh. Hey! Watch where you're going, you stupid mime!
Good luck, my friend.
Watch where you're going, you stupid mime.
Watch where you're going, you stupid mime!
About Delia. I just want to say
I understand. There's no need to explain.
Should we help him?
Sometimes you have to...
Learn on your own.
So that was the video. We'll watch one more video, 1 minute. So that was the thing. Yeah. So welcome back all. So first video we have seen, the person was very angry and other person was silent. So again, this person became mime. Again, another angry person came. So that was the thing. So in the first video, what was, can anyone tell what exactly happened in the first video?
Leave the angry feelings.
What is the lesson? What you have learned in the first video? What is the lesson?
Um, just thinking peace. Just don't get irritated immediately.
Don't get irritated. Don't get angry. Yep.
And think about your situations.
Why that? Why the second guy? When he'll sit with the girl and he'll tell sorry, right? Why he said sorry?
He disturbing him while
Hey,
he
no, first lady was there, and after lady, the guy has become mime, like the Joker. Even the lady went and she was on the table having a kind of drink. Again, the fat fellow becomes a mime, and the second person sits with the lady and he tells like he is sorry for being angry. So why he says that he is sorry like for being angry? Anyone can tell. Or what is the lesson you learned? Anyone can tell.
We should control our emotions.
Okay. She control emotions and
He understands while talking with angrily what the situation to others will face and how the situation. So
exactly. So when he understands, like tell me, like what time he understands? What is the point of time? How he understood that? Or when he
fat
understood
person,
that?
the fat person
When
comes
another
to him
person angry
and
on
says,
himself.
And when?
another person came to that person.
Another person angry on him.
He's also speaking with
Okay, that
angrily.
one.
At that time, he understands that situations.
Exactly. What is that thing? Mhm. Yeah. So what is that? What is that changed his mind? What was that?
Sir,
That thing?
may I tell, sir?
Yeah, please.
Uh, suppose you're giving something to anyone, it's good or
Yeah.
bad, it will be written to you same as well as
Fine.
just
Yeah. Okay, and in the second one, in the second story, in the second video,
yeah.
second video also almost the same thing. First, he did not change, and after that, he changed. So
Yes.
what brought that change in that person? What brought the change in the person?
Actually, sir, may I tell in Telugu, sir?
Yeah,
Actually,
tell no go.
అతను ఏదైతే చూయించాడో సేమ్ అదే తను ఫేస్ చేశాడు. సో, అది అర్థం చేసుకొని ఆ పర్సన్ ఎవరైతే ఉన్నారో తనకి క్లోజ్ పర్సన్ ఎవరైతే ఉన్నారో సేమ్
ఫేస్ చేశాడు
యెస్
కదా,
సార్.
దాన్ని ఒక వన్ వర్డ్ లో పెట్టు.
ఈ ఫేస్డ్
ఫేస్డ్.
ఈ
ఫైన్.
ఫేస్
సో ఒక కొటేషన్ ఉంది ఇంగ్లీష్ లో.
యెస్ సార్.
వాట్ ఇస్ దట్? సో when you supposed to experience that, then there's one quotation in English.
యెస్.
You should get into others' shoes. You should get into others' shoes. What is the meaning? Can anyone tell? You should get into others' shoes. What is the meaning?
మీరు ఏదైతే ఇతరులపై చూపిస్తున్నారో
కాదు కాదు
కదా సార్?
Don't act like other person.
No, no,
Don't
no.
involve in other person's works.
ఇది పాజిటివ్ మ్యాన్, ఇది పాజిటివ్, ఇది నెగిటివ్ కాదు. యూ
Negative
షుడ్
కాదు.
గెట్ ఇన్ టు అదర్స్ షూస్. యూ షుడ్ గెట్ ఇన్ టు అదర్స్ షూస్.
ఓహో! ఓకే. ఓకే సార్.
Going into the
మీరు
going
ఇంకొకరి ప్లేస్‌లోకి మీరు ఎళ్ళాలనుకుంటే, ఇంకొకరి ప్లేస్‌లోకి మీరు ఎళ్ళాలని
ఇంకొక
అనుకోండి.
ప్లేస్కి వెళ్ళి చూడాలి యాక్చువల్గా. వాళ్ళ ప్లేస్లో ఉండి
ఆయన
అనుభవిస్తే తప్ప.
Yes.
అంతే కదా? సో వాళ్ళ ప్లేస్లో ఉండి అనుభవిస్తే తప్ప
If you want to know,
మనకి ఆ పెయిన్ అనేది తెలియదు.
if you want some other person, if you want to know about some other person, you have to in his place.
Get into their position.
Yes, sir. Get
Okay,
into their
get into their position.
Yes.
And you'll understand things better, okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So now,
Great thing, sir. Yes.
so you're one side looking at something and you're unable to understand, and so see, one good example in my life I'll give you. So far I flew to Chandigarh only once. So I took flight only once so far. That was very emergency. Immediately I was supposed to go. If I take train, it will be more than 24 hours. So I had to fly Chandigarh. So before that, I was thinking about the air hostess. You know air hostess, right, everyone? Air hostess.
Yes, sir.
The one who will be in the airplane, right? That beautiful girls who will give you water and all those things, right? So their salary is also very good. Salary is not bad. Salary is very good. So before taking that flight, so now I was having a very good impression about these girls. I mean, they really enjoy their life, That is a very luxurious life. I was thinking in that manner. So being an air hostess is very luxurious. They really have that thing. I was with that intention. But in that flight, so while traveling in that flight, so I observed what they were doing and everything. So they were giving water. That's okay. They were giving guidance how to wear seat belt and should not use mobile phones. All instructions they were giving in the flight. That is also okay. But now during that lunchtime and snack time, they give water bottles, other food items, right? So we eat that food item and we pack it, and that we'll keep the cover before your table only. So regular intervals. So two hostess, two girls, they'll come with a cover. They'll come with a cover, holding the cover. So everyone, they'll come to every table. And you have to put that water bottle, all that cover, the food cover, what you ate. She'd put that in that cover. So two girls are coming with a cover. So there's no dustbin, okay? I don't know dustbin is there in the flight or not. I didn't observe that. Remember, I didn't know that. But these people were coming to every table. After lunchtime, these people were coming to with a cover, and everyone was putting that particular incident. Then I started, this is not good. Okay. Wearing that nice dress, beautiful look and everything, but this particular thing was not good for me. So initially I was thinking that life is very luxurious, very great. They are really enjoying and having a lot of money. That was my first impression. But in the airplane, what I observed after that, so I got their experience, right? So I understood their experience. I observed with my own eyes. So then this is not so this life is kind of questionable. So if you want to know the person's pain, you really have to get into that person's shoes, that person's position, and understand. Then you'll understand the pressure, pain, and everything. So that was the thing. And a very classic story also we see in everyone's life, right? Say all about in-laws, mother-in-laws, especially mother-in-law And father-in-law also, I believe. అత్త మామ తెలుసు కదా అందరికి. అత్త మామ. Mother-in-law means attama, father-in-law means mama, mamaya. In Hindi, what do you call? Can anyone tell in Hindi what do you call them?
ససురాల్.
Sasural. Acha, fine. Both of them sasural only.
అత్తమ్మని ససురాల్ అంటారు.
Okay, mamani. Mamani when?
Sasur.
Mamane. Sasura.
Sasur.
It's Sas and Sasur.
Sasur.
Acha, Sas is the man, Sasur is the woman, right?
Opposite. Sas is woman actually.
Acha, Sas is woman. Okay, Sasur is man. Okay, fine. I'll remember. Yeah, Sas Bahu bolte na. Yeah, exactly. I understand. So, this lady, mother-in-law, Sas, what she'll think? My daughter should be very happy. My daughter should be very happy when they go to the others, in-laws' house. Fine. Same intention for every Sasur, for every mother-in-law, for every Attama, same intention. What? మా పాప మా బిడ్డ బాగుండాలి, మా కూతురు బాగుండాలి. అప్నా బేటీ అచ్చా रहना घर में. That's a very good intention, okay? And if you look at the other side, okay, other girl is also from other house.
Sai, keep it on mute.
Some disturbance. Okay. So if the other girl is coming from the other side, from the other house to this house, so Saas Bahu ban gaye. It's like Tom and Jerry, na? People call it Tom and Jerry. I've seen in my colony also some of the things. So Saas Bahu. And some of them on the roads also. All that quarrel and everything. Very awkward to see that thing. So what I mean to say is, this lady, she will expect from in-laws that they should take good care of my daughter. They should take good care of my daughter. They should respect my daughter. They should not tell any work to my daughter. But other daughter also, when she comes to this house, so most of them are not thinking in that way. What do you call that in one word? What do you call that in one word? They expect their daughter to be very good at the other house. But when the other daughter is coming to this house, they are not taking care. They are playing some attitude. Not all of them, some of them. What do you call that attitude? What is the thinking? So in the first video, so after the person has experienced that, then he understood that he made a mistake. And then he understood that how it feels. If someone is angry at you, how it feels. The person understood. Then he became very calm. And second video also, the person understood, right? How it feels if you do not help others. What he can very well stop the lift at first time. He can very well give that balloon to the girl first time. He can very well stop the trolley first time. But he didn't do that. After that, old lady appreciated. And he stopped that car with a hand. He was thinking that his hand is a magic hand. When the old lady appreciated him, then his mind changed. The second time he stopped the lift, he helped the girl, and he also gave that some note to the girl. And exactly, he saw one more person who was behaving like him, and he also wanted to change that person. So after facing the problem, then he realized, or after getting the appreciation from. So what I mean to say is, this Saas Bahu ka bhi, this mother-in-law and daughter-in-law. Normally they're supposed to, if a daughter has gone to other house and daughter-in-law has come, so they can think, right, she's just like my daughter. My daughter has gone and I've got a new daughter. And you are able to understand, right? So my daughter has gone to other house, you are crying, whether there. But you got one more girl in your house. Same girl, same age. So you can very well, be friendly with her. Be like a mother to that girl, no? So you're showing her, hey, get me coffee. Where is hot water? Did you wash clothes? Did you mop the house? So I'm just giving a casual example, okay? Sir is telling me, no. So why I am telling this is the mind, we call that mind, there are two words for that thing. One is, we will see. Now I will show PowerPoint, okay? I will show the PowerPoint, yes. Yeah. You're able to see the PowerPoint, right? Everyone? You're able to see the presentation, right? Blank screen is coming, purple screen. You're able to see everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. Topic. Yeah. Ought to. So this is a kind of model verb again. Shall, should, have to, must. We have seen those words, right? So this is one of the model verb. If you get into bookish book details, like people call it semi-modal verb, semi-modal verb, and modal verb. So there are three names. So we'll just keep this category in modal verb only as of now. Ought to. So ought to means, so having that mind, having that mind. What mind we will just see. See this mind, moral or ethical. So moral science, morals we can easily recognize when you do some mistake in morals, we can easily recognize. Telling lies, if someone is telling lies, so they do not have morals. You're cheating on somebody, no morals. You're doing some theft, shoplifting. Shoplifting means you went to some supermarket store, you grabbed a chocolate and you already put it in your mouth, but near the counter you didn't tell anyone. Fine, no morals. Cheating is something, and if someone has given you shopkeeper gave you some extra money, you're not giving back, no morals. Okay. So moral is all about doing good and bad, which are easily recognizable. Now ethical obligations, ethics. So this is where morals, even a child can also understand what are morals. So ethics, these are a kind of very broad topic. Ethics means just now we spoke, right? Saas Bahu. So if this Saas is a good lady, if this mother-in-law is a good lady, her daughter has gone to other house, no problem. Other daughter has come from other house to this house. So if she takes really care, just like their daughter, then she's having good ethics. Not morals, good ethics. Fine. So you're same. Both the ways you're same. What you want others to take good care of your daughter, and you're also taking good care of others' daughter also. So your ethics are very good. Fine, absolutely no problem. Your ethics are very good. Some people are doing the business, other person is at loss. Only you are having a lot of money in that business. So it's not good ethics like. In the business, both of the person should prosper. One who is buying, one is selling, both should benefit equally. Then we can say there are good ethics in that business. So you're cheating on someone, only you are getting a lot of money, other person is not getting a lot of money, they are at loss. So that is not a good, there are no good ethics in that thing. So now you understood what are morals, what are ethics. Ethics, people will argue. They want their family to be good. They don't care for the other families. They don't care for neighbors. They don't care for society. So that is the thing. That's about ethics. Morals, you have to kind of think, you can easily recognize if someone is doing wrong. Now, the same thing, good and bad. So what is good, what is bad? Some people, I am good for good and bad for bad. Good plus bad is equal to bad only. So that is a different story. So this ought to word is connected to morals and ethics, good and bad things, just and unjust, niti aviniti. So ought to, this word is connected to this, just and unjust, wise and foolish, wise and foolish. So you are being wise in some matters and you are being very foolish in other matters. Fine. We will come to that thing. So wise and foolish in the sense at one place you are acting very good, other place you are not acting the way you're supposed to act. So that's what wise and foolish. You are wise at one place and foolish at other place. There is no match. Right or wrong? Sorry, right and wrong. So you should do right things, not the wrong things. So whenever we talk about these things, morals, ethics, good and bad, just and wise and foolish. Right now we are supposed to use this model verb ought to. Fine. We'll just see some of the experience. So teachers did, they are wishing. So you ought to wish your teacher. You should wish your teacher. Okay, people understand. Fine. So you ought to wish your teacher because that is talking about good morals, Sorry, good manners. So you ought to respect your teachers. This is about following rules, What that person is helping. There are two things. You ought to help others. You ought to help others. It's about good and bad. You ought to help others. So this one, these people are not at all following the rule. They're supposed to walk only on the zebra crossing. So they are completely widespread. Rush is too much. You ought to. Fine. So when it comes to the ethics, so we will see. You ought to have decorum. Decorum means discipline. So there's no discipline right here. You ought to follow traffic rules. So no, you must follow traffic rules. That was correct. That is correct. Because that is a must thing. There's no option, there's no choice. You must follow traffic rules. So you ought to maintain decorum. You ought to maintain discipline. So maintaining discipline or not. So that is about the ought to thing. Now we shall see some example sentences. This topic is very small. We'll quickly see. First one, you ought to apologize to storekeeper for your rude behavior. So you went to shop and you're talking you're talking in a rash manner. Okay. You're talking in a rash manner and your behavior was not good in the shop. So you're supposed to say sorry. You should say sorry. Okay, English is understandable, but you ought to say sorry. You ought to apologize. That is a perfect English. It's talking about good manners. When you ought to apologize. So I want from now on everyone to use this word for good manners. So all those things, okay? The government ought to get serious to eradicate corruption. You see this corruption. Even though there are rules that you should not give money, that this I've seen many people, continue in this thing. So government ought to. So it's government duty, government's duty to get serious. They are not getting serious. So I'm talking about getting serious, I'm not talking about eradicating. If I talk about stopping corruption, government must. So that is the thing. Government must. Okay. So
Sir,
yeah.
sir, I have one doubt, sir. Sir, can you explain, sir, ought to and difference between ought to and should? What is the difference, sir?
One
I
minute.
think both are like.
Yeah. 1 minute. Okay, Santosh.
Sir.
Yeah, tell me. You're asking should, na?
हाँ sir, ought to or should.
So should, I told you, na, like last time I told you what? Responsibility.
Sir, the government should get serious to reduce corruption.
In speaking, so I told you, right? You should follow traffic rules, okay? You should follow traffic rules. You must follow traffic rules. You ought to follow traffic rules. Now there are three ways. Now traffic rule, it is a compulsory thing, right?
Sir.
Compulsory thing, so must. For a compulsory thing, should use only must.
Okay.
You should follow traffic rules, wrong. You ought to follow traffic rules, wrong. You must follow traffic rules, that is correct. ठीक है?
Sir.
Now you should respect your elders, ठीक है? You ought to respect your elders. Now we have seen respecting elders or not respecting elders, it's all about good behavior and bad behavior.
Sir.
Okay. Now when you talk about this good thing, bad thing, fine, ethics, morals, right or wrong, then we use this word ought to, not should. Got it? You should win the game. Fine. Yeah, you ought to win the game. You ought to win the game. Nay, that is wrong. You should win the game. That's correct.
Yeah.
Whenever this topic is coming about good and bad, okay, in behavior, in thinking, so in all those things, then we are supposed to use this word ought to.
Sir, when I give some advice like that case should is perfect or ought to is perfect. I give some suggestions. I give some suggestions to other. I give some suggestion to other. I give some advice to other. That time.
Okay.
Ought is perfect या should is perfect, sir?
नहीं, एडवाइस किसके बारे में लाइक?
नहीं सर, अब आई थिंक ये एक सजेशन एक दोस्त को मैं दे रहा हूँ सर. मतलब ये करो तो अच्छा है, वो करो तो बुरा है, ऐसे ऐसे करो. नहीं, गुड एडवाइस दे रहा हूँ सर.
अभी मैं बात करूंगा कंस्ट्रक्शन कंपनी में जॉब के बारे में बात करेंगे हम, ठीक है? जॉब के बारे में, ठीक है? काम ऐसा ऐसा करना, तो यू शुड डू लाइक दिस, ओके? अंडरस्टूड राइट? काम ऐसा ऐसा करना, तो दैट मीन्स यू शुड डू दिस, दैट इज करेक्ट, ओके? एंड काम करने के वक्त पे जो अच्छी है जो बुरी है ना, अभी मैं क्या सोच रहा हूँ, मैं कामचोर हूँ, ठीक है? सच्ची में नहीं है, मैं बोल रहा हूँ. तो इफ आई एम ए कामचोर, तो आप क्या बोलना? यू ऑट टू बी serious about your work. You ought to be serious about your. Now you should be serious about your work. Nahi. Understood, right?
Yes.
So that kamchor is about. So there are two things now. I am serious. See, I am not serious. Sorry, I am escaping my work. Okay, that is not a good attitude. That is not a good behavior. Okay, in the work. Okay, that is not a good behavior. You're telling, okay, I'm going to see this, but you're not going there and you're somewhere going and you're on the mobile. That is not good, right? Okay. So you ought to get serious about your work. That is correct. Now, otherwise, you're doing your work, but you're doing it in a very lazy manner, very slowly. Okay. In that case, you should tell what? You should get serious about your work. You should get serious about your work. You ought to get serious about your work. See, there are two things. You should get serious about your work. कब बोल सकते हैं? जब वो बंदा हल्लू काम कर रहा, बहुत हल्लू काम कर रहा काम पे, ठीक है? You should get serious about your work. That is a correct thing. वो बंदा काम चोर है, then you should tell what you ought to. You ought to get serious about your work. That is correct. ठीक है संतोष?
Yes.
समझ गया ना?
While speaking about their responsibilities.
While speaking about your attitude, especially attitude. Okay. So
Quite similar.
second-
Both are quite similar, but little bit different, sir. Like that.
little bit, not little bit. The subject is different here. Subject is different.
Okay.
The subject is different here. You ought to stop smoking. You ought to stop smoking in public places. ठीक है? You should stop smoking in public places. नहीं. Smoking in public places is bad behavior, a bad thing, because others will get affected. That is one thing. And but some people, many people continue. No? They go to pawn shop and there only they start. Whoever is passing by, they get. So it's bad. So you ought to stop smoking in public places. That is correct. You should stop smoking in public places. Wrong. ठीक है संतोष?
Sir.
You should work very hard and earn lot of money. So responsibility. ठीक है?
Yes.
So that is a thing. Now, third one issue that is very easy to understand. Children ought to respect their elders, teachers, and parents. Children should respect their elders, teachers, and parents. If you ask me, 90% or 99% people will say no problem in that thing. But let me tell you, please pick up this word. Children ought to respect their elders, teachers, and parents. Please pick up this word. This is correct word. Children should respect their... Okay, fine. So respecting is all about good and bad behavior in the mind. So pick up this word. Children ought to respect this word. Stop using should. Okay. So fourth one, everyone ought to be kind and helpful to each other. See, everyone should be kind and helpful to each other. Okay, when you're speaking, so that sounds correct. Absolutely, there's no mistake. Also, when you Google AI, it'll show no grammar mistake, nothing that this. But so draw a line. So there should be a line, na? Difference. What is the difference between this? Draw a line. So everyone ought to be kind. It's all about character. Now we have just now seen angry character. Fine. So it should not be like that. So you have to be kind, helpful. Fine. So we'll see one video. Everyone can see the bridge, right?
Yes, sir.
We'll see simple video. Okay. We'll see. So, well, simple video. Yeah. So the video is all about, understanding the opposite person and giving space for the opposite person so that, the relationship is good. So you have to respect others. You ought to respect others. You ought to understand others. You ought to understand others.
Don't show
Should
your
understand
attitude
others.
to others.
Ah,
Don't show your attitude to others.
exactly. Fine. So now in such cases, the same thing. No? So this is the thing.
Simple thing, sir. Karma will be returned to you. That is the only moral.
Yeah, fourth one. So everyone ought to be kind and helpful. See, everyone should be kind and helpful. Please stop using that. Ought to be kind and helpful. So you ought to. So you ought to buy him a new book to replace the old one you lost. Can anyone tell me the meaning of this? You ought to buy him a new book to replace the old one you lost. Can you just explain exactly what happened in this situation? You ought to buy him a new book to replace the old one you lost. Can you just tell the situation exactly what happened? Anyone? Santosh.
Sir,
Banu Prakash Reddy. Banu, you're there, man? Kalyan Arvind. Ravi Bhattu.
If you lost something,
Saying to that he's saying that recommending to buy a new book.
Why? Why is it
Because when he lost that book, to replace that he's recommending.
So how many people are there in the scene? How many people are there in the scene in the fifth sentence?
Two.
In that story, how many people are there?
Two people. Two, sir.
Two people, huh? Two people or more people? So I want any other person to tell how many people are there in that fifth sentence and exactly what happened between them. You should also tell me. Anyone? You ought to
So
buy
many
him a
people.
new book.
So many people.
No. See, you ought to buy him. You one person.
సార్ నేను ఒక
Him.
ఐ విల్ టెల్ యూ ఇన్ తెలుగు సార్ నువ్వు అతని పుస్తకం పోగొట్టినట్టయితే తనకి ఆ బుక్ ప్లేస్ లో ఇంకో బుక్ నువ్వు కొనివ్వాలి అనేది మీనింగ్.
Meaning. So ఎంతమంది ఉన్నారు లైన్ లో?
Two persons, sir. One person is saying and one person is listening.
3 persons, sir.
What is?
3 persons, sir.
3 persons. Who is the third person?
Book.
So that book giving owner, that command to
The book owner.
that book.
Ah.
No, sir.
Third person is the book owner.
Book owner, yes, exactly.
Third person is the book owner, and his friend took that book, and that fellow, he lost the book. Okay, and he lost the book and is very calm and cool. So he has very good friend, and that good friend is telling this guy, what? Hey fellow, you took his book and you lost it. What is your responsibility now? Because you took his book and you lost it. It is your responsibility to buy him a new book. So I took something from you. I took your mobile, man. I took your mobile, okay? We are on the 30th floor. I took your mobile and mobile somehow got dropped from 30th floor. So whose responsibility now to give the mobile? The one who dropped, right? Yes or no? So for example, the mobile is iPhone worth more than 1 lakh, and you took from your, at that day only your friend bought that mobile, and you are very, excited to see them. Arey, please, de de mujhe, main dekh ke deta hu. Okay, he gave you that mobile, and you are in excitement, and something has happened, and someone pushed in that new mobile from 30th floor. It fell down. Now it's your responsibility to get that new mobile again. That's called ethics. Not morals, it's ethics. If you don't get that mobile, the person may go to police station also. If he's a good friend and very rich friend, then maybe I don't know what will be the next story. You have to catch his feet and tell, no, please, sorry, I'm off kar de, मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ, पैसे नहीं है मुझे. Then you have to do something. If not, you're cool and calm. You're showing attitude. अरे मैं क्या करूँ? मैं गिर गया, saw it fall. What should I? That you'll get a nice tight slap. So it's a responsibility. The ethics. The person has lost the book, others' book. So to give that book back, it's responsibility. Ethics, ethical responsibility. You ought to buy him a new book. That is a correct sentence. You should buy him a new book. You must buy him a new book. People can speak this one also, but keep those things aside. So I want you to use from now on, you ought to buy him a new book. Fine. You ought to report everything to the manager without hiding anything. You ought to report everything to, see, one way it is responsibility. End of the day, you should tell everything to the manager. That is responsibility. So you should tell everything to the manager. That is correct. But if you're hiding something, then you're obeying in a wrong manner, right? That is wrong. That hiding thing is wrong. You're hiding something from your manager, you're afraid of your manager, or you want to steal something, then that is very bad. So that's what you ought to report everything. And as a co-worker, as a colleague, you saw that fellow doing something wrong. You ought to report. So it's a responsibility, ethical responsibility. Fine. So you ought to report to the construction manager what you saw in the space. Okay, well, so that is sixth one. We ought to pay our debts in time to retain credibility. Keep the side credibility. We ought to pay our debts. बहुत सारे लोग पैसे देते ना, पैसे लेते ना, phone करो, no response. And sometimes phone switch off. Sometimes phone number changed also. So it's very bad, right? Even I was the victim for some of the situations. So we ought to pay our debts. You're taking the money from your friend. You promised some date. Call your friend on the date or before. Tell your friend, so I need some more time. They will love you. That's ethics. You ought to pay. You should pay your debts. Don't use that. You ought to pay your debts. Please use excuse me. You ought to listen to elders' advice. See, our parents, they know everything about the family life. And your daddy will, or your mommy will tell, your daddy will tell, "Arey, beta, simply go and tell sorry to that lady, and you'll be very happy." Why should I tell sorry? Again, you will face other experience. Then you realize that I should tell sorry. And so you ought to listen to elders' advice because they are very much experienced. Eighth one, you ought to be honest to yourself first. See, you ought to be honest. No? You're thinking that no one is seeing you and and you're continuing wrong things. It's very bad. So you ought to be honest to yourself first. Then you can be honest to others. You're honest to everyone and you're not honest to yourself. It's one day everything will come out. Everyone will know what you're doing and what your honesty is all about. So you ought to be honest. You should be honest. Stop using that word. Fine. You ought to be honest. Ninth one, you ought to have a guilt-free conscience. You see this guilt-free conscience. You ought to have a good mind. You ought to have good thoughts. You should have good thoughts. Stop using that. You ought to have guilt-free. Guilt-free conscience means you're standing in front of the mirror. So I am just combing nicely and In the mirror, my mind is telling her, you are a very bad fellow, you are doing all wrong things. Your mind is telling like that. That means your mind is very guilty. You cannot be happy and you cannot be very good in front of others with that mind. So to overcome that problem, you ought to have a guilt-free conscience. Why people commit suicide? That guilty consciousness, it's always poking behind in the mind. You're doing wrong. You're doing wrong. You should die. You're not. So all that's coming back. So keep a fresh mind. How to get guilt-free conscience? If you do any mistake, say sorry to God and the mind is fresh. Just in your mind, you just take a decision. You will not do that wrong thing again. Then you have the guilt-free conscience. So I'm not lecturing about this thing. Please, I'm again telling you today. My lecture is all about using the word ought to. Okay, so I am not putting any other stuff. So for every good man has good things, bad. So you should use this word. You ought to apologize. Children ought to. Everyone ought to. We ought to. You ought to. They ought to. So every space employee ought to. So like that. Fine. So should, must, you should respect, you must respect, you ought to respect. You ought to respect is correct thing. You should follow traffic rules, you must follow traffic rules, you ought to follow traffic rules, you must follow traffic rules. That is correct. Fine. You should win the game, you must win the game, you ought to win the game. You should win the game. That's correct. You must win the game. Maybe it's a kind of warning, something like that, in a different way. But in that context, you should win the game. That's responsible. So that's about the ought to. So we just now seen, right? Ought to. Ought to is a modal verb. Where do we use that thing? Primary usage, okay? See that natural obligation, natural or not forced, natural, not forced, natural. Fine. You tell lies, right? You don't tell truth always. But that natural is the thing is there in the mind that you should tell truth. You ought to tell truth. So moral, ethical. I told you what are morals and what are ethicals. Ethics, ethics, Sas Bahu, the mother-in-law and daughter-in-law. So very good example, that one. Good and bad. Just and unjust, wise and foolish, right and wrong thing. So respecting teachers, elders, parents, helping others, maintaining discipline. So you ought to apologize. The government ought to get serious to eradicate corruption. Children ought to respect elders. Everyone ought to be kind. So all these words are talking about your character only. Apologize, get serious, respect, kind, helpful, and buying a thing, paying debts, following the advice, honesty, guilt-free conduct. These are all talking about the character, one's character and thinking, good thinking, bad thinking. So you ought to. So you should tell truth. So please stop using this. Just follow this word, ought to. So thank you. That's 1 minute. Yeah. Any questions in this ought to?
Sir, when we are getting the articles for studying purpose?
Articles, I didn't say anything.
Articles shall, should, must, have to.
Yeah, exactly. This shall, should, must, they are all modal verbs. I'm preparing a whole document. There are 1 or 2 more modal verbs. In the next class, we'll be completing modal verbs. Once I complete the modal verbs, we'll have all the modal verbs in 1 page with the differences. So when you see that page, you'll be as easily able to understand where to use must, where to use should, and everything. So then I'm just preparing the document.
While watching the video, so we should have the document.
You told me, sir. Okay, fine. So then I'll make a point. Next class, you'll have a document ready. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Even that will be good for me also.
Yes,
We'll
yes.
make the document ready. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, so everyone understood, right? Ought to. Ought to is all about good, bad. So ethics, morals, right, wrong, correct, incorrect, in that way also. So you ought to respect, you ought to be honest. You should respect, you should be honest. Stop using those words, okay? Use this word, your English also will become very professional. So that's all for the day. Bye everyone.
Thank you, sir. Bye.
Yeah, thank you.